Yeah.
But that's what it was for me. Sure. It was a case of I got everything else right in my life, and the trading kind of followed. Check, yeah, like I woke up the next day, I'm like, check my bank account, the money's still there. Like, I just gotta check. So if you want to be a profitable trader, and if you want to be in this game for a long time, flipping accounts isn't the option for you. Deep down, who you truly are, the charts are going to expose that about you.
What's up, guys? It's Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent and talented traders in the industry. And today I am joined by another PE trader. Actually, we're shooting all this on the same day, guys, so don't be surprised. Keegan, I'm sitting down with Keegan Van Dyk.
Awesome, brother. Just want to say, like, truly grateful and blessed to be sitting here. Really an awesome opportunity to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm also like, I'm quite honored. No one has ever traveled far for an interview, but I feel like this is very special for us. We're truly honored today.
Hey, we'll be setting the trend for you guys. Hopefully future guys will start doing the same now.
Yeah, you're the true trendsetters, honestly. And I'm also looking forward to the Industry Chats podcast that we're going to shoot, all of us as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good
Yeah, because I think we're going to get into the nitty-gritties. But I think today we're here, the focus is on you right now. I think a lot of people want to know who Keegan is as well. Where do you come from? How was your childhood? How was your upbringing? Just that.
Yeah, so obviously I'm from PE. I'm Joburg born in Sandton, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But moved very young to PE and spent most of my life there. Must say, I had a very good childhood. I mean, your average childhood. We weren't like wealthy, things like that. But my parents did the best to give us anything we needed. Obviously, I'm the baby of the family, got an older brother, older sister. And then, growing up, I definitely wasn't the academic as much as my parents would have loved me to be in. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Again, very sporty background. So sports was just what led me to that. So focused most of my childhood on my sports, athletics and rugby. Obviously going to a good school in high school, all of that to follow that. Obviously leading up, playing Craven Week, then moving on to going to Western Province, playing there for a while, the age groups, and then coming back, playing a bit more rugby in PE, had some injuries and stuff, which kind of led me to moving back to PE. And at this point in time, that's actually where I was trying to get back into the industry, or kind of make my name after my injuries. And
wait, you saying getting back into the industry?
Yeah, so I had a bad knee injury.
Okay.
Which basically I knew where my opportunities were to sign the big contracts. When I had that knee injury, it kind of blew my shot. So I needed to, if you want to say, move down to the smaller franchises to where I knew I'd get the game time.
Okay.
Where I could play, make that performance to get back to the bigger teams. And obviously when we came back, shocker, obviously the unexpected COVID happens. So obviously that just went out the window. And at the time, this is where I get into trading.
Okay.
So a mate of mine, he's very, very big in the industry now. He messaged me the one day. I think I saw charts in that on his like Instagram story or something. I was like, "What's this thing?" And he's like, "Nah, bro, WhatsApp me. I'm gonna send you a message. Let's chat." So we start talking about it, and it's this case of he's telling me all this, and he always did that drop shipping.
Okay.
And now it's a case of no, but this is the future, bro. Like it's been around, but it's getting big now. Like we missed Bitcoin, but this is our shot now. Let's do this.
Trading without fees. Now that's possible with Octa. Octa has no commissions on deposits and withdrawals, no swaps or fees. Get your gains in full and earn more in the long run. Trade with spreads from 0.2 pips on majors, metals and indices and more with Octa. Execute orders always at market price and withdraw money on time when you need it. Conditions can't get any better with Octa. See for yourself. Use the promo code TOPTRADER and get 100% deposit bonus. Trading made clear with Octa.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what does it take? He's like, no, man, literally you can put in $100. Like, we start there. And it was this whole case of, because of COVID, I was like, damn, okay, well, if rugby's not going to happen, I don't have my plan B. I never went to varsity, things like this. Like, I was full in with the sports.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, maybe I must give this a shot. And started trading, of course, blew the $100. And I was like, okay, maybe I was just being an idiot. Like, let me just put another $100 in, try again. And put the $100 in. I grew the account to like $1,000 something.
100.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a case of, I never felt like it was mine because I never got that withdrawal. Oh. And true as nuts, I'm like, I took $100 to $1,000 a week. 2 weeks later, I blew that. And I'm like, damn, Forex is a scam. I'm not doing this. And obviously, where things were going, I took a break, stopped trading. I was like, okay, it's not for me. And so at this time, again, now COVID's coming out of it, like circumstances with family, stuff like that, where parents aren't kind of able to work because of their jobs.
Yeah.
I was like if you want to say, I was lucky with being in the social side of things. So at the time, I was working at a bar as a manager. And we had machines. So we weren't allowed to sell alcohol, but at least we were able to work because of the machines, of the gambling side.
Oh, okay.
So we could sell a little bit of food and that. So I got to work still and all of this. And obviously coming out of COVID, I just felt like I was behind on life. Like everyone that was still studied was kind of like getting their degrees now. Now I've had this massive setback in my life. And I was like, I need to figure something out. And this mate of mine, I bump into him again now, where he was doing well with the drop shipping, but now with the trading, he's just bought a Mustang. He's doing all this. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, help me out here. And he says, bro, I've started this group. You are one of like my mates. Like, I'm not going to charge you anything. Just join me. It's this trading stuff. I told you this. And I'm like, okay, like maybe I must try this again. And I started doing it. And now that I'm doing it, it's become more popular. And I started chatting to a few guys. This guy's learning with this guy. This guy's trading with this one. And I was like, okay, well, there's courses. There's actually like education on this stuff. So I started getting like cheap courses, trading with a few friends. And before I knew it, I was turning like a 500 Rand into 2,000 Rand, 3,000 Rand. And just making that a daily thing. Kind of that little pocket money for the weekends. And it got to a point, the more and more serious I was getting about this, I started getting in circles where I was meeting more full-time traders. And I'm like, okay, so guys do this as a job.
So at this point, you're still working
as... still a barman.
Yeah.
And because that's what I was saying, at this point, it's just pocket money. I'm like, okay, you can't really... Like, maybe this one mate of mine did it, but like, he already had a good foundation. So I always talk about, it's easy to trade if you got the money to trade. So... I'm like, but now I've met like 3 guys who are young and they're full-time traders. So clearly there is something here. And I started hanging out with these guys, chatting more. And before I know it, they're like, no, bro, like do this. Like, I promise you, you can do this. And I started hanging around. I started cutting out. Like, I was going out all the time. It's a typical thing, going out, partying, living the life. I started cutting those things out of my life. I was focused on these things, like my family, going to church, getting all my priorities right. And next minute, the 500 Rand started turning to 10K every month. And I'm like, okay, the money's getting bigger and bigger.
So do you think it was a direct correlation of you cutting?
I say it always sounds like the cliche thing.
Yeah.
But that's what it was for me.
Sure.
It was a case of I got everything else right in my life and the trading kind of followed. And... I mean, even the same time, this is where, because the rugby field, I always feel like I'm a guy, I need that distraction. So I love the gym. Obviously, I got into the gym because of my rugby. And at this time, I was like, well, I don't have the rugby. I'm going to chase the bodybuilding. Like, let me give that a try. So at the same time this was going on, I'm also prepping for my first ever bodybuilding show. So again, I'm at a very, very healthy state in my life. I'm very like dedicated, committed, doing the long hours and stuff. So at this time, my one mate comes to me, or a guy I meet at the time, and he comes to me and says, no, but he trades like $200,000 accounts. And I'm like, bro, $200,000? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, man, but it's a funded account. So I'm like, what the hell's a funded account? And he obviously educates me on all this thing. And I'm like, okay. So literally, again, going back to this first friend that got me in it, he's like, bro, I've got so many. And at the time, you could only have so many to your name. So he's like, I want to get a bigger one, but I've got the small one that's still in the challenge phase. It's like, you can have it. See if it's for you. Like, try it out. And it's that whole thing of beginner's luck that I always talk to people about. Smash it out the park, pass phase 1, pass phase 2. And I'm like, damn, bro, this is for me. Like, I like this. Like, I don't feel emotionally attached because if I lose, it's not my money I'm losing. And he says to me, well, it's live, bro. Have it. Like, it's yours. Have it. And I'm like, damn, okay, well, I'm going to make money here. I promise you, when this thing went live, I didn't hit 1 win. Didn't hit 1 win, blew the account.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay, but I'm not going to give up. I think, again, where you want to say the sports, that whole perseverance, I'm like, all right, let me try one more time. Let's see here. And I get a 50K account. And same thing, phase 1, a bit difficult, some ups and downs. Phase 2, literally 1 trade past phase 2. I'm like, okay, I'm going to treat this thing different.
Wait,
and
1 trade?
Yeah, 1 trade.
Was it were you swinging or was it just
it was I wouldn't even say it was a swing. It was a day trade.
Yeah.
But very, very technical. So at the time, I always tell people my 2 favorite pairs is GJ and gold. And purely because GJ at this time was literally ranging. And I always say to guys, I actually do enjoy a ranging market when it's properly ranging. Because it's simple. If you're at the top of the range and you've rejected, where are you going? The bottom of the range. So I was lucky. I got a very good entry and I just held it to the bottom. And because we had, I think, news came out that day or something, this thing pumped to the downside and hit TP, finished phase 2. And I was like, damn, okay. So got it live. And at the same time, you still like, okay. But again, I haven't seen that return. So again, I'm still like, it's there on the side. I'm doing well, but it's not real.
But now you're the one who's paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me just get this first payout. Get the first payout, and it was like a decent payout. I think it was like $3,000. But now you get your refund with it, you get all this stuff. And I'm like, still, it's not real. Not real. I haven't seen it. Eventually, until the payment came into my bank account. And I was like, damn, like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, I always said to people, like, I had to show my girlfriend, and I was like, check yeah, like, I woke up the next day, I'm like, check my bank account, the money's still there. Like, I just got to check. And eventually I was like, you know what, this is for me. And I started trading. I still did like my little flip accounts on the side, but like, this was the thing that it became the game changer for me. And this is where I think my whole life flipped, and I was like, damn, I want to do trading now. Like, this actually can become a full-time thing. Only at this point, eh? Before that, I was just like, it's pocket money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, as I want to say, even if you're making a quick 10K, when you're someone, you're sitting with like, your whole bank account and your savings is only like 20K per month. So making that 10K, again, I'm young. So I make 10K, I go buy a PlayStation. That's most of the money got already. So you don't really have anything to show for it. At the same time, like, if I don't flip another account, I'm back at square one. So until you started building that capital, I was like, maybe it's not for me. But I think it honestly, when I go back to it, it was a case of, I think I honestly just swapped one habit for another.
Okay.
When I lost the rugby, I lost all this. I just went over to trading.
Okay.
But it was a weird one in that sense. Like, again, you don't realize it's real until you really start seeing the return on it. I think that's what a lot of people always worry about. And when I go into it again, I'm not trading. I'm like doing this. I have my 3 friends that are traders, and that's it. We trade. It's square. Like, that's it. I'm still looking at like Instagram. You're following all these like Forex gurus, just being like, oh, bro, I want to get there. Like, that's what I want to get to. So at this point in time, I wouldn't even say there was a end goal. Like, I think that's just where in my life, I'd say I had that transition now from going my whole life, doing sports, doing all this, and then getting into the Forex industry. So, I mean, if I look at that that was only 2021, 2022. So not that far back.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. So, but let's take it back a little bit right now, because right now you say you were at a point where you were taking 5K to 2.5 while you're working.
Yeah.
And that on its own, it's its own skill, because because like you're already making like 250% on your investments already. But now when you actually think about it, no, I think it's two. My maths might be wrong, guys. I'm sorry. In my head, I'm like, no, that number didn't make sense. Yeah. So anyway, but what was the learning process for you? Because I know you had a guy tell you, or one of your mates tell you that, hey, look, this is Forex thing. You know, you were inquisitive, but what was that process that went into you actually learning to get to a point where now you're able to take 500?
So the process for me, how like it started, was obviously having this friend, and I'll never forget it. Like when we started trading as this little group of mates, we were those guys where if you go search like Forex patterns on Google, the little double tops, the bearish flag, like that was all we were trading. That was it. That was all it was, and we were still profitable to a point. And like I said, until I blew the account. But after that, it was the case of I had a mate who was showing me these things. And I was just getting inquisitive. Like, okay, I'm listening to you, but where did you learn this from?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no, bro, I did a course. And again, I know nothing at this point. So my Instagram, for example, I don't follow any gurus, like nothing like this. So I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And he gives me the course, and he says, bro, like, your mates, I'll literally give you the course. Go check it out, see if you like it. And I did that course, and I was like, okay, like this really, it's like, it actually helps you understand. Like, I really understand what I'm looking at now. And started trading, make a bit of money. And again, I just felt like this can't be the end all be all. I always say, when you do something, you don't do something once or twice and now you're the best at it. So even though I started, it was a case of, how do I get better now? I want to know more. So if I lost a trade, why did I lose the trade? And the course couldn't tell me that. So I was like, okay, I need to find someone that can answer that question. So I would go find another course, and I did that course. And I think I did about 3 courses. And then eventually I came across a friend of mine who at the time was the guy trading the big 200K account.
Okay.
And he said, bro, but get a mentor. And I was like, okay, cool. Got this mentor, Garen, very, very good mate of mine.
But what was the process of you getting a mentor? Because I think a lot of people, this is where a lot of people actually struggle right now, because the term mentor right now has gotten such a bad reputation attached to it that people don't know where to go. People, in as much as we always tell people, go do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, a lot of people just kind of find themselves buying into the lifestyle sellers, into the lifestyle marketers, the Forex marketers as well. So what was your thought process into getting a mentor?
So for me, again, it was pretty simple, because I said, like, at this time, like, I'm a blank page. So on Instagram, I'm not seeing these gurus and stuff. So when I got this from a friend, it was a case of like, this is my mentor. He helped me get to where I am at. If you like him, like, give him a try. Like, I'll give you his number, chat to him. So he literally just gave me his number. I messaged him. He just explained to me like what the course is about, or the mentorship. And again, he actually doesn't sell a course. It's more the educational. He sits with you. So he does his analysis with you. He'll explain to you why he's looking for what he's looking for. And then at the same time doing those one-on-ones with you, to be like, okay, so what is it you battling with? What are you wanting to know? What can I help you with? And it was very simple things. And at that point in time, I think the biggest thing he helped me with was psychology. My mind just wasn't in the game, because at this point in time, I'm coming from flipping accounts. So I always say, if you want to be a profitable trader, and if you want to be in this game for a long time, flipping accounts isn't the option for you. That's not the way to go. And we had this whole flip in my mindset for me. And now at this stage, I'm starting to pick up on the gurus on IG and stuff like this. And funny enough, now I come across the next mentor I get, who again, it was a case of just knowing people who know people.
Yeah.
So again, I'm in the bodybuilding. I have this mate I know, and one of his clients he always posts about. So again, me and this guy are going to start competing against each other. I'm like, let me check this guy out. And one day on his stories, I see he's posting candles. He's there on Trading View. And I'm like, okay, let me send this guy a message. I'm like, hey, bro, like, you trade? Yeah, be in the game for a while, all of this. So I'm like, oh, send me your number, like, let's chat. So we start chatting, become friends. And only about, like, 2 months later, I find out, listen, the guy's got a mentorship. But this is now pricey. And it was just that decision for me. Again, I think this comes to where I was raised. So we always made the joke growing up, I'm too poor to buy poor.
Okay.
So in a sense, if you buy something that's cheap, it's going to break and you're going to replace it about 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
So if you rather save up in that initial, you buy the more expensive thing, it's a once-off payment and it's going to save you in the long run. So obviously I'm at this stage, I'm getting to the stage like I want to invest in trading. I want to be here. So take the knock, fit the bill, and let's take this like actual like investment in this. And never doubted it. The guy, you obviously would know the guy, Carl.
Oh,
Big shout out to my boy.
Shout out to Carl James.
And didn't hide anything. I asked him like, bro, obviously this to me, like this is a lot of money at this point to spend. Can you at least show me something? Like, what am I getting? And he was like, yo, bro, no stress. What do you want to see? I'll show you. So he sent me like little run-throughs, what I'll get, what I'll be looking at, what to look out for, what to expect from the course. And I said, okay, cool. You know what? It's on special. Or actually, no, funny thing was I bought it and the next day it went on special. But I was like, you know what? It's karma, but I'm here for it anyway. So got it, started it, and I never looked back. I always said that was one of the courses that changed it for me. Just because the mindset I had of how I trade, he was the most similar. So it almost like before I even had to talk to him, the questions I had, he answered. And everything could link up and come together. So it became very natural in that sense. And again, it was almost just like where I had a course already or a strategy, I had little blank areas, he filled that in. So I was able to now finesse my course and fix the little tweaks I needed to.
Yeah.
And obviously that started showing on the charts. So for me, I wouldn't say I didn't get caught up in, luckily I didn't get caught up in like the fake gurus and stuff like that, because again, I probably just had an easy route in getting the mentorship.
Okay. Yeah, you actually get quite a smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Eh? I mean, you know what? Only bought like 3 courses, right?
Yeah, literally 3 courses.
Because that's actually quite low.
Yeah. Until today, I always say to guys, I'm not scared to buy another course because I always say I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
But I also do teach guys nowadays, you don't want to be buying 6 courses.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the courses conflict each other. And now mentally you get the problem where you sit with taking a trade because you go, but now which is the correct way? This guy tells me not to do this guy tells me to do it. So which one do I listen to?
Yeah.
So this is that thing of when you have too much information, it becomes bad. So again, I was just lucky, like I say, I found what worked for me straight off the bat. And I just stuck with it.
Yeah. You're heavy in the prop firm space. Yeah.
So I'm a big aggregate for the prop firm.
How's that going for you currently? Or how has that journey been going for you?
So funny enough, I think that's been quite a journey. So when I got in the prop firm with that 50K account, that's what changed my life. So obviously I'm making good money, but again, I'm being logical. Like I want to go full time, but I do realize trading, a proper trader is not going to have withdrawals every month. You might have to live off your savings for 2 months, 3 months maybe, before you get another payout.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, I need to have a big backfall that if I am full-time, like if there's bills that need to be paid, they can be paid. So I'm like, at this point, I'm trading, I'm making money, but I'm just putting it away, still working at the bar. And I had this 1 month where basically in the 1 month, I made my 2 years salary.
2 years.
Yeah. So I made to give the guys idea, like you can just see where I'm coming from is you as the barman, even as a manager, I'm making roughly like 4K a month. 4K a month, you're doing about 700 Rand a week. working the long hours, dealing with these cuck people. That's what you're doing. And in this 1 month, I make about 180K.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I've put money aside. I've done this now. This is my shot. Like, I need to take it now. And I take it. I go all in. And funny enough, this is where I go on probably the biggest win streak I've ever had in my life. I'm doing about 10% withdrawals every 2 weeks.
Gee.
Like, killing this. So my mate and I, we never forget, we go on a Cape Town trip. And again, like, I see something and I was like, bro, watch this. I'm buying gold. Like, massive move to the downside. I'm buying gold. Set my alerts, and we still walking around car shopping at the time. And he's like, bro, you still in that trade? So I'm like, well, my alert hasn't gone off. I'll come back, check my phone, and I'm like $3,500 up.
Gee.
Whole thing just rejects. So I would go back to my chick and be like, listen, holiday's paid for. Let's move on. So I'm a big advocate for it, because for me personally, it's the thing that changed my life. It really did. I always say, if you talk to guys today and ask them what are they battling with trading, the biggest answer is capital.
Yeah.
Always. And for me, that's where prop firms came in, where it was the equalizer between the small guy and the big guy. Because it gave you the buying capital, the buying power of what the big guys had. So I always say to people, if you can't make it as a prop firm trader, you probably shouldn't be trading. Because I do believe the rules teach you how to manage a big account. They teach you how to be profitable and stay profitable. And again, those accounts can change your life. If you look at the RR, when I say, like, if you buy a 100K account, you can get them, 7, 8K nowadays?
Yeah.
7, 8K, you pass the account, you get your first payout, 3%, 2%. You're getting a payout of about 55,000 Rand. So you already look at the return from your investment. And I just said, like, till today, even with all the drama that's gone on about them, I will still always support them.
Yeah. Now let's talk about money management, because right now you got to a point where you're withdrawing like 6 figures at some point. Money's coming in, and you also spoke about savings, and you also speak about how there will be months or 2 months where money's not coming in as well. But I think that really requires like a different level of money management and understanding, is that, hey, look, this money's coming in, but I'm not sure about the next trade.
Yeah.
And let's just talk about like your money management strategy or your approach to, especially within the prop firm space, because in as much as you're saying that it's affording a lot of people the opportunity of seeing these big figures, but at the same time, psychologically, a lot of people are not used to seeing big figures come in. So I think it's, so how were you able to navigate?
Obviously, I must say in the beginning, I was a typical boy and a typical child. When the big money came in, I was going big money shopping. I was spending it. But after the while, you have to kind of realize it and be like, listen, am I going to lose this, or do I want to keep this lifestyle? So you got to obviously put those protection things in place. And what I was basically doing when it got to a point was, because you're getting these big withdrawals, I could be like, listen, if I'm getting a withdrawal of 60K and I'm doing this every 2 weeks, I can put 40K into savings and I've still got 20K for myself to go spend. So you still, every time you get a payout, you put in this big portion away, and you still got a nice portion for yourself. Because I always say, you being a profitable trader, also in saying this risk management, where people battle is because it's hard to always put away. Because in a way, you never see in the return. So I always tell people, you got to pay yourself. Because when you pay yourself, you at least see a result of your hard work. And that for me was mentally what I could cope with. I could cope with literally understanding, like, bro, if I'm still taking 20K every 2 weeks, again, remembering where I was making 700K a week, 700 Rand a week, like that, I'm happy with that. So I was able to put away large sums every month, knowing, again, what the end goal was, that I wanted to go full time. And to be fair, that's whole money management is what saved me. Because I wouldn't say I went into a depression later on, but this is when I was tested as a trader, was all my eggs were in one basket. And I'm living the life. And literally, I've been full time maybe 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
This is literally just after I meet Chris.
Yeah.
I'm having a great week at the office, all this stuff. I'm on the way to the office and my mate phones me and goes, bro, my Forex funds has been shut down.
Gee.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's this thing of I go check my account. I can't get into my account. The web page down, all of this. And I'm like, no way. It's like, yeah, that's my money gone. So I had to then live literally off my savings for basically the next 6-7 months, because mentally I think that threw me. That threw me. I wasn't prepared for that. So even though I had the money, I was doing like another accounts. I was maybe getting them past phase 1, and then because I'm like, I need to get an account back, I was blowing them.
Gee, so you're just under a lot of pressure at that time.
Yeah, so I almost like, I think that's where it got to the point where I was thinking to myself, like, listen, I'm gonna lose everything at this rate. I'm living off it, but I had to drop my standard of life. I had to be real with myself and be like, listen, if I want to be in this game, I got to think clever now. I got to put the ego aside. I got to put everything aside. I got to work with this money I have left and figure out a way out of this hole. I didn't put myself in it, but circumstances did. And I would have found my way out. And it was a case of, if you're going to be a trader, I could probably say maybe this again comes back to the rugby and all these things. I'm a really bad loser and a bad quitter. Like, I will fight till it's the very end. And my thing was, I do not want to have to go back with my tail between my legs and say, I failed. I lived the life. I did everything. I lost it, and now it's done. And I had to like get back on my feet. And eventually, like, it got to a point I actually stopped with the prop rooms. I took a break because mentally I wasn't in the state to do it. So got back to personal accounts, and I was just growing personal accounts.
Okay, so you stopped with the prop firms to go back to personal accounts.
Because
but you didn't stop trading.
No, I didn't stop trading, but I had to do away because, like I say, to keep paying myself.
Okay.
So at least if I did a personal account, put in a $200, at the end of a week, if that $200 made $500, I can at least take $100 from that on a weekly basis. And at least I'm got money at least coming into my bank account at the same time again. So I had to do that and prove myself. And I think, honestly, I was sitting back the other day and I was either talking to Chris about it or I was talking to my girlfriend about it. And I said, I think, honestly, that's where I got comfortable in this whole live streaming journey, was where this community accepted me for being real and raw. As someone, I made money. I knew what it was like to be with the big boys and kind of had it all cut away from me. And they all stood there with me, not lying to them, not being anything, and being like, bro, I'm building myself back up. And you can be a part of the journey and watch me do it. And I think that was the case of having that fight, getting back on my feet, getting my mind right. I've been literally smashing accounts out the water again now. Yeah. My personal account's probably the biggest I've ever grown a personal account to in my life. So yeah, it's been one hell of a roller coaster ride. But again, I think if I don't do that money management, I would have been in a lot of trouble very, very early on.
Yeah, and a lot of people find themselves in that position right there with no money because now the lifestyle kind of just went up here.
Yeah.
And then they forgot about saving for rainy days, and then the rainy days came, and this is why you find a lot of people just kind of give up. They just leave Forex. It's just like, hey, it wasn't for me. But when you actually look at the whole process, that you actually weren't really smart with the money, you didn't really put it away. Nice, you didn't really invest it in something as well that could pay you as well outside of Forex. Yeah,
I always say to people as well, like, it's a funny thing, Forex. You actually got to be a bit crazy to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it in like a business aspect, if you fail a business 5 times, 3 times even, most people will be like, hey, this isn't for me. I'll go work for someone. Clearly I can't run a business. But trading, you're going to fail 100 times and you're still going to be persistent to do it. So as much as there's that perseverance, I always tell people there's a bit of craziness to it. You got to really want it. Like, you got to want it deep down. And again, I think this at the same time went back to me getting, I wouldn't say doing mentorships, but then I started even doing boot camps with people. But now I'm like, I need to learn something new, something the guys don't have here. So, for example, I started doing boot camps with overseas guys, which meant I was literally doing like 5-day boot camps in the week at 11 o'clock at night till 4 in the morning. But you have to put that hustle in. You got to work for it if that's what you want. So I had to have that complete like mind flip again.
Yeah. So the boot camp thing, can you break it down for a lot of people? Because I think a lot of people tend to hear the trading boot camps, all of those, but what really goes down in a trading camp or a trading boot camp?
Yeah, so honestly, I think they obviously can differ depending on the boot camps, but this was a more advanced boot camp, if I have to be honest with that. I think we ran through things very quickly. So cool, we started with, guys, you understand what a candle is. Guys, now we go to a candle formation. Now we're going to show you how that candle formation creates your change of character. Now we're going to show you how if this is the strategy we use, you're going to now start implementing that change of character into your entry criteria. And it's almost like you basically got a 10-step, but each step builds onto the next one. So it's a way of showing you, there's this course of saying technique 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'm going to show you how you connect each technique. Because a lot of guys, and that's where I think we spoke about it a few times, even on our live streams on podcasts, guys want to always throw you this golden nugget, the most amazing course in the world. But the problem people have is they don't know how to implement that course. And I think that's where the boot camps come, because these guys, it's not like I'm reading something. The trader you're learning from is sitting there live with you for 5-6 hours a day, showing you right there in front of you how you do it, explain to you what it is, how it works, how you implement it.
And what kind of impact did that have on your trading at that point?
I must say it had a big impact in the sense that, again, it was a totally different insight. So for the first time, at this time in my life, even though I was trading, doing so well, these guys really started breaking down what a fundamental is. How do fundamentals impact the market? How does your psychology impact your trading? Going back to your all-round life, they'll talk about how if you look at your trading, who you are off the charts, deep down, who you truly are, the charts are going to expose that about you. So if you've got everything controlled together and put together off the charts, you're going to have it put together on the charts. And they literally show you how, again, your whole all-round life needs to be one for your trading to be one. And it was almost this complete mind sweep of, it's not, in a sense, just about the charts. It's this way, way bigger picture. And I think a lot of guys, for example, always say like psychology. Psychology is probably 70% of the job, trading 30%. And I'd even get to the point, you could honestly even break it up into pillars.
Okay.
You could go your psychology, your sentimentals, your technicals, and your fundamentals. So those are already 4 key pillars that all together would improve you as a trader.
Yeah. Are you a bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a bodybuilder?
Yeah, no, I do compete.
Yeah, let's talk about your fitness regimen. I want to talk about that part of your life as well, because I feel like it is a part of you as well. Yeah, so what is like what goes down?
Yeah, so obviously when that started, again, that was actually quite an interesting one, because funny enough, obviously I started competing at the same time I got into this, so I'm loving it. Like, I'm very healthy body, healthy mind. I've always been someone that's been fit. Okay. So obviously with the sporting background, I always have to explain this to people. So I wasn't always big. Like, people will say, oh bro, you're big now. I don't see myself that way, purely because when I started gymming, I was like 60 kgs. Like, I was tall, but skinny. And started picking up size, got bigger, lost size, got bigger. Very much a roller coaster. And I say to people, again, it's that whole thing of mind games, perseverance, commitment, dedication. Because with the bodybuilding, it's those long hours. So same thing with if you go trade, it's in the gym. If you go for 1 gym session, you're not going to see any results. If you go for 2 gym sessions, you're not going to see any results. If you go for 30 gym sessions, you're not going to see any results. But if you go for 100 gym sessions, then something's going to start happening. And before you know it, you've also created now habits. So those habits you don't even think about. Subconsciously, your body's doing them. So it's that whole thing of where I wake up now in the morning, I'll have to, when I'm in prep, I go morning cardio. Then you come home, you shower, you literally start, your day's already started. You've had your first meal, your breakfast. Now it's a case of I go, you sit down, you're on the charts. I'm fueled, I'm ready to go, my mind's active, I'm wide awake. It's completely different to someone that would then just wake up, have a cup of coffee and sit on the charts.
Okay.
My brain's, if you think, already running overtime compared to someone that's still half asleep. So I think it definitely it helps with everything, but it really is a different ball game. Again, it's not the thing for everyone. I think a lot of people battle with it. And again, I wouldn't say we don't battle with it, but bodybuilding it's a brutal sport, but it's a very personal sport. So you yourself have got to be prepared for what's going to come.
You know, so what are like the hours that go into like you just preparing, especially if you've got like a competition coming up?
So if I was to give you like a rundown, so basically on a Sunday night, I meal prep, or me and my girlfriend meal prep, and that's about 3 hours. You're cooking all the food, packing the food into the containers, everything like that, measuring out every little bit of your food. And then when it comes to your training aspect, so normally when I'm in prep, I've got about an hour of cardio in the morning. Then my training session is probably about 3 hours. And then I've got another cardio of 1 hour. Purely because you're obviously doing that fasted cardio where we want to focus on burning our fat in the morning. Then we go into our training. Once I always train like to in the afternoons, evening, because I've allowed my body to eat throughout the day. So I'm fueled because unlike these new school gym guys, nothing wrong with it. They just more the science-based training where I like the old school. I like you go in, you lift some heavy weight and I go home. Yeah. So go in, I want to make sure my body's fueled for that. Then again, it's more my cardio afterwards now, because again, you want to focus on, if you want to say ironing down on that fat again. And then it's a case of once that's finished, I've got all my posing. I've got to pose, I've got to practice. Because again, as you get bigger, a lot of guys, if people always joke about, if you see a big bodybuilder, there's the joke that, I mean, you can't scratch your back. And that's purely because he's not stretching, he's not doing mobility. Yeah. So again, new school bodybuilding, your big guys are quite flexible. Because again, if you're actually more flexible, you actually will also be stronger because your muscles are able to compound a lot easier. So literally we'll spend about 30 minutes just stretching as well.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm asking you about your fitness regimen is, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Is because how is that translated into your trading as well? Have you taken anything, or what has translated over from there into your trading?
I'd say definitely, again, that if you want to say the habits, you easier to create a habit. So where I want to, for example, how I approach the markets, it becomes a subconscious habit. Again, my body, my brain being a lot more active, I always will say it, healthy body, healthy mind. You're not lazy, so you're prepared to do the work. And it's something stupid as well, because of bodybuilding, you also go to bed early because you need your rest. So obviously being well rested to be awake the next day to trade is obviously a no-brainer. Yeah. So, but again, following over honestly the commitment and the habits. You're not going to shy away from the work, and you're okay to do the dedication. So if I go there and I say, listen, I'm going to backtest for 3 hours, I don't have to second guess it. Like, I'm used to 3 hours of cardio and posing. So it's easy for me to keep my mind focused on something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. You know, I liked what you said. You know, you spoke about, one gym session won't do it for you. 2 gym sessions just won't do it for you. And because I think right now we live in a generation where instant gratification as well, like instant winning, people are chasing those instant rewards, especially on the charts right now. People want to see those numbers go flicker like really quickly, quick like that. So what I'm saying is that I think just hearing how you're talking is like 100 gym sessions. Like, okay, now when you guys actually think about that, 100 training sessions as well. Show up every day, or else you won't see any results.
100%.
Yeah.
So even the thing is, like, again, being acceptable. So for me, again, nowadays, if I don't want to toot my own horn on it, but I think if you want to talk, one of my strongest points in trading is fundamentals now. Like it was one of, if you want to say, my weakest points, but I just loved the understanding of it. So I put the time and the hours into it. And now when you go back to that and you say that whole, people want the instant success. And I think that's where today grew the whole idea of NFP Fridays, CPR.
Yeah.
People want to trade these things because they want to see these massive, massive numbers. But my thing is, that's not realistic. It's not an everyday thing, because even if you take 500 Rand and you make 5,000 Rand on that NFP CPI event, you can turn around and lose that 5,000 Rand in the next 2 days. Then you showed no progress, because I can guarantee you that habit you're creating for yourself, you want to over leverage. So now you're going to go the next day and you'll take a trade and you're going to over leverage, and most probably you could even be right with the move, but you're not giving the trade the breathing room now because you've over leveraged. So your trade can't handle to go into that bit of drawdown that it needs to.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you mentioned earlier on that you trade personal funds and then you also trade prop firm funds.
Yeah.
What's the difference, like, especially on a psychological level, you know, how do they differ? I know it's both trading, you can probably go on both and buy Euro USD, but I'd like to believe it's very different at the same time.
And it is very different, but same at the same time.
Okay.
So I take over a lot of my rules from funded to personal. Because again, if I think personal, when it comes to personal, if you ask a guy, he trades personal accounts, I guarantee you 80% of them are going to say they flip accounts.
Okay.
They don't grow capital, because that's the problem most of those guys have. And honestly, that was my problem as well, because it gets to a point, like if I take 1K or 500 to 2K, 2K to 4K, 4K to 8K, 8K to 10K. Now all of a sudden, because I'm at 10K, it's like I have to be making a minimum of 3, 4K for it to be a good trade.
Okay.
Where if I took still 2K every day, before I know at the end of the week I'm at 20K. I've still doubled the account by the end of the week. But it's almost like because the account's bigger, you're not accepting of the smaller wins. Where if that was a funded account, and I think that's where I take it over, I want to look at everything in percentage. I take money off the charts. I always joked with guys, there was a stage, because I don't want to promote it, but when it comes to funded, I am an aggressive trader when I'm in the funded stages. When it's live, it's a whole different ball game. But because I'm aggressive, I will cover the screen if I need to see it. Like I would go to the links that I'll take black duct tape and I'll stick it over the top of my phone. I don't want to see that amount, because then again, emotions have taken over, because I'm now focused on the value and not, if you want to say, the statistical side of the trade. Because if I'm going after a certain percent here, why should it change if I was up $50 or I'll go break even? But now because I'm up $3,000, I might not, because guess this thing's a runner. Like the value of your trade shouldn't determine anything. So that's why for me, I'll always say I am the same on both, but because it's a personal, there is those times where I will be a little bit more aggressive, because obviously I know, for example, if I want to risk 5% on that trade, 5% on a personal account is very different to a funded, obviously. I can blow my funded account with 5%. 5% is just, it's a bad loss for the day. So it is just mentally, I think you have to be able to understand the difference and be okay with it.
Yeah. So wait, you said something about valuing. Okay, but it's fine. I missed that one. It's okay. What do people get wrong when it comes to prop firm challenges?
So a lot of time, guys, I think it's that they can't focus on what a prop firm challenge is. So firstly, I always say to guys, when I was smashing these things out the park, there's an approach you got to have. You either got to be that guy that's going to chip away, and play the RR game. Or you've got to be the guy that's going to be aggressive. But at the same time, I say this, you got to be accepting. Again, if I want to risk 2%, you got to be honest with yourself. If I lose 2% on this trade, am I okay with it? I can't break down and have a meltdown because I lost 2% in one trade, irrelevant of the account size. So for myself, like I had this talk where we did a project with the guys. Some of the guys have live accounts now. Some of the guys are in phase 2. Some of the guys are in phase 1 because mentally, obviously what they're risking on each trade is different. They all took the exact same trade, but what they risked was different. So for myself, I'm so strict on the trades I take now, but when I take it, I've got full faith in my trade. Like if there's a hint that I shouldn't be taking this trade, I'm not taking it, because if I'm already doubting myself, why am I taking the trade? So if I enter, especially those first few trades, I will go 3% on that trade if I have to, purely because of the sense, I always talk to guys about this. Challenges are made for the trader to fail. They're made for you to fail. If you were trading, again, a 100K account, there's no need for you to hit the 10% target every month. You can hit 2% and you're already in the top 5% of monthly salaries in the country with 2%. So why are you targeting 10% every month? So when you're doing a challenge, you got to put the odds in your favor. It's a game of probability. Now, again, when you start even looking at this on the statistical side of things, if you look at the account when you buy it, your leverage is always going to be higher in the challenge phase. So phase 1 and phase 2. But when you go over to your live account, they drop it because obviously this is real money you're playing with now. So my thing is, if you're giving me that extra leverage, I'm going to use it, because why not? So I will risk that 3% on a trade if I have to, because I can hit 3% and hit a 2R trade, and I'm 6% up on that account now. Now I can even drop my RR because I'm basically halfway home. I can drop the RR. But again, if you aren't that guy that's not comfortable to do this, you got to be understanding, because where I think the guys go wrong now is they don't have the patience. So they want to do the chip away, but the chip away is taking them 3 weeks to get 2% up, and now they're impatient because they want to get the account live, and then they start playing with the bigger lots, which emotionally they're not ready for. And when they see, for example, you enter a trade and you immediately in some big drawdown, they're not okay with that, and they start closing the trades. And again, close the trade when it was 3 pips in drawdown for it to turn around and go your way anyway.
Yeah, sure. You know, I really want to focus on this one a lot, because I think a lot of people, there's a reason why there's so many people who are struggling in trading. You know, the number is high. I've heard people say 97%, 95%, but anything above 90%. And when you actually think about it, you know, yes, trading has become a household name, in a household subject rather in South Africa. You know, every dinner table, someone's gonna mention at least once, you know, that trading or this, something about trading, however how. But as well as that, like, what struggles did you have to overcome along the way, especially when it comes to your trading? Because I think a lot of people tend to be stuck in particular places and they don't know how to bring themselves out of it.
So personally for myself, I think was psychology. I had to get my mind right. But honestly, again, growing up, because of being sporty, all this stuff, I had a very social background. And trading, as much as we wanted to be that, again, these guys show you it on Instagram, that I must be making 100, 300,000 sitting at a coffee shop with my mates. That's not trading. And you got to understand, like when I said I did these boot camps, I did all these things, I talk to people that I call it the dark mode. You got to hit that dark mode at some stage in your journey, where it's almost like I switch everything else off. I'm going to disappear for 6 months. I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to work. And when I come back, you'll see all the results of my work. And I had to do that. So there was a stage in my life, I lost a lot of my friends. I think I even had family that was angry at me because maybe thinking I'm cutting family out, where it wasn't the case. It was a thing of, again, I said, I had to make a choice in my life where I was at. If this is going to be what I want to do, I needed to give it everything. So I think for me, the biggest things was that psychology, mental game, because I was at this stage, it felt like I was losing more than I was gaining. I was losing money. I was losing friends. I was losing family. It was just losing. And I think I had to overcome that and again, see what the bigger picture was. Same thing I always say to people, when you think you lost, you just got to zoom out and you'll see where you are. You're still on track. And I had to do that. So when I actually had this stage, again, I was starting to just talk to a lot of friends and people that were still holding on to. And I had a few friends that said to me, and they turned around and said, bro, we got you. Like, just because I don't hear from you every day doesn't mean you're not my friend. Doesn't mean I care less about you. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, my value for friendship and things like that shouldn't be based on the case of if I send you a meme every day. So I realized it and I was like, you know what? I need you, as I say, sit down, do the work, and I'll do the damage control at the end. And I think that was what, once you, again, truly accepting of things, because at the end of the day, I think that's what all things come down to, is when you're not accepting of something. When you can't accept losing money, you can't accept if your favorite F1 driver can't win a race, if your rugby team loses, it sucks because you weren't accepting of it. So the minute you truly can accept those hard times, I think in the long run, those things start to get better.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, you're a beast in terms of the live trading as well, because I know most of the times you're doing 2 sessions, right? The
London and New York
session. Yeah, what goes into that for you? What preparation goes into that?
Honestly, I know it's going to sound honest. Every night, I think the only thing I truly do is a preparation. So on a Sunday night, I'll do a quick analysis of where the markets ended up. So my daily closures, things like that, weekly closures, to just see key areas, key levels, zones I want to already know, like, this is what I'm looking for in the coming week. So obviously I do the prep on a Sunday. Then the Monday, I've got pivot zones I have to just move. So I have to remove all those. But from then on, every day, it's honestly, all I'm prepping is I'm changing my Asia range, just setting my new Asia range every morning. And it's a case of, if there was a closure around a POI key level, I will just go onto the dailies, because I always say I do a top-down analysis. So I will just go through the 6 pairs I trade, go check when each one's like daily closures, make sure if they were in key areas or things, that if it affects my daily bias, that then if it's still the same, stays the same. If it's been affected, make the necessary changes, and that's it.
Yeah. So what happens when you have like a bias, in a sense, or you get married to the bias and then
you get married to a bias, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
you gotta get hurt. I think a lot of people. So funny enough, that's actually where my winning streak ended in the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Was because long term, I'm not bullish on the dollar, but short term I am, because fundamentally, I haven't got a reason yet to go bearish on it.
Okay.
So where it was holding the strength, even though it would go bearish, the next day, massive wick rejection and go bullish again. So I was staying bullish on it. And obviously the day last week, Tuesday, I think it was, dollar had that massive turnaround.
Yeah.
And I'm still going, listen, it's just going to make the low of the day, the low of the week, and then at the wick rejection. So I'm still staying. I said, I'm prepared if it does flip, but I'm still leaning there. And it was one of those cases of, if I wasn't, even though I wouldn't say I was married to it, I was prepared for it to flip and go bearish.
Yeah.
When I took a trade on gold, wanting to short, got clapped on it. And when I journaled it afterwards, I was like, okay, if I had to have just, again, accepted that this thing was the possibility of flipping bearish now, my technical analysis, I would have never taken that sell. So, yeah, I think if you do get married to a bias, it's going to hurt you. But at the same time, I also want to say to you guys, you got to find that neutral ground where, if I'm not married to it, but be confident in your position. So for example, when I'll manage a trade, just because if I enter, let's say a buy on gold now, and I get drawdown, if I can manage the trade, I'm going to manage it. Because it doesn't necessarily mean my trade was wrong. I was just in at the wrong time. So if it can go down, make the low, sweep the lows of the day, induce all your sellers, come back up to the top. Once I get that re-break, I'll take the entry again. So just because the first time was wrong, I'm not going to change my bias now. I'll still stick to my bias until, again, I can have a reason to change my bias.
Yeah.
So there's that neutral ground of marrying a bias, but also having confidence in your bias.
Okay. Nah, I hear you. Question.
Yeah.
Do you get tired though? Like, I mean, showing up every... honestly speaking.
There is the days.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, I will say Fridays you're tired because you've got all the streams of the week.
Yeah.
And then the Friday, we normally got the London, then the podcast, and then the stream.
Yeah.
So Fridays, you feel it. But lately, where the markets have been, I don't know what they've been doing these last weeks. Like, for anyone, guys, if you were trading these last weeks and you don't know what the markets are doing, it's not your fault. Like, I don't know what they're doing now. But when you sit there, those type of sessions, sitting there 6 hours a day looking at charts, and I can't see anything, I can't get anything, mentally you get tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you get drained.
Yeah, so what do you do for yourself to bring yourself...
Honestly,
to bring yourself back?
I think, again, that's where we're blessed with our community, eh?
Yeah.
Our community is very understanding. So when we see that start happening and those energies start to drop, Chris and I will find something stupid to entertain the chat with. We will start doing games. We will start talking the biggest load of rubbish.
Yeah.
We'll start doing giveaways. We'll do something to keep it up and get that energy level. Because again, once you need that endorphin release. Once you've done that one or two things that are, if you want to say that moment, that energy levels are up after that. Then you're good to go.
Yeah, no, that's quite true. Yeah, because a lot of people tend to... Because I think for a very long time, personally, I've always had this idea that trading is a lonely sport.
Yeah.
I never truly really understood the idea of the community this, community that person. And this is a personal take of mine, you know. But just hearing, basically, as of late, I've been hearing from so many people that the importance of having a community, you know, just to be able to bring you back, you know, because I understand it's a lonely journey.
No, it really is.
It's a lonely journey, but then again, you also need people around you.
Yeah, so funny you actually say that. Literally last week, one of my good mates, now he is a successful trader, so he doesn't join, and he sent me a very nice message about it, and he's like, bro, he just wants to say like thank you for the streams. And I was like okay, like thanks brother, what's up? And he's like, no, because he feels so alone trading at home. He's been a full-time trader for like 5-6 years, and he trades alone. His girlfriend's obviously got a job, so every day he wakes up and he sits alone in that house the whole day. And obviously you're young, so you want to go out and do stuff, but all your friends have normal jobs, so you can't, otherwise you're going out by yourself.
Yeah.
So, and he said, but now having this community, he said he jumped on the one stream, and I think it was one of these days we were actually having probably one of our best streams we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it literally felt like a party. And he jumped on that day, and again, it was just having that community, because not only the guys are there with us, but we always talk about it, the chat having their own conversation.
Yeah.
They talking to each other and going off. And it's that whole vibe, I think we always say to people, where again we can get away with that, where when there's nothing on the markets, we can do other things, because the guys aren't there just for the trading. We've built this platform where the guys all have that same mindset as traders, and they know it's lonely, but now they've got a space they can come together and keep each other, like, if you're even accountable, but keep each other energized. Keep that social aspect going.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important, and I do see it now. I do see it. I really do see it. So I think you've kind of already touched on your approach to the market. Can you just get a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, so for me, I'm more if you want to say key level support and resistance trader. Very, very simple. I always said to guys, people aren't profitable in trading because they overcomplicate it. You saw your first answer was the correct one. But then you came and told me why B equals C and C equals D to D equal F. And I'm like, but A was right. Like you had it the first shot. So trading is an amazing thing because you can have guys that have 6 different approaches, but you all see the same end goal. Where I was a guy, again, not an academic. So I can't have all these different things, so I'm going to confuse myself. So I wanted a way of keeping things simple. And it was always about looking on the bigger picture. So again, that's where if you look at my trading style, I trade off a very higher time frame bias. So I'm always looking at daily, 4 hour, 30 minute. Then I will look for my structure break on a 15. And once I've got that, I will enter off a 5. So I'm never looking at the 5. I'm just using that purely like, okay, I'm about to enter. I will look for closures on the 5. But very, very simple. I always said to guys, you want to keep it that way. Because again, you don't want to be sitting there going, but I've got this telling me this telling me that, this is telling me this. It's like you should have 5 things you look for. You tick those 5 boxes, I enter the trade. Keep it mechanical, I keep the emotions out of it.
Yeah, no, that's very important right there. And obviously your daily routine, you've actually kind of broken down your daily routine already. Because literally you mentioned the gym stuff and then it's like, but like, why? What keeps you going? What is your why?
My whys, so I always sat there when I look at people, when it came to my sports, when it came to trading and it came to everything. So I'll never forget, there was when already, like I had my first bad injury. I was like 17. I was very involved at the church. And my church leader at the time came over and they told me, they said, listen, like chill out, it's going to be okay, it's going to be all this. And they said, you were chosen to live and walk the life you do today because God knew you would be the only strong one to walk that life. And when I go through these hard times, it will always remind me like, okay, I've got this and I can do it. I can see it through on the other side. And that's why when I look at these people now, when it comes to trading, when it comes to bodybuilding, when it comes to anything, I always say to guys, when you look at these gurus and you even look at the big boys, the overseas guys, if you're looking at the FX LXG, the Q Banks, all these boys, what makes them different from you? Nothing. You a guy, you've got trading view, you've got a trading account, you can do the same numbers they can do. There's nothing that makes you different. And it was always that hunger for me as a person that I want to do better. And if there's no reason I can't do better, then there's no reason to hold me back. So I wouldn't say I'm not someone I'm proud, but I'm never satisfied. So I want to always be more. I want to be better. I want to do something that I can look back in my life and always go and say, I followed it through. I saw it till the end.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. What has been your biggest loss that you've taken on this? But I feel like you really touched on it. Actually.
So my biggest loss, if we like you talk full numbers, and it's the same thing. I've never come close to that loss ever again because you literally want to go into depression. You feel sick, you feel nauseous, you literally want to go lay down. I didn't want to see a chart for like another week after that. Was literally 80,000 one day. And again, this is kind of when I got into the prop industry. I'm making good money, I'm doing all this stuff, and it was revenge trading. Just kept going back at it.
And you know, revenge trading is so weird because it's like everything, it's like you've got tunnel vision and you can't see anything.
Literally, you can't switch off.
Yeah, like you just keep going and you tell yourself, no, I need to stop, but just one more. And you just keep going.
The only reason I stopped
was
because if I literally placed another $500, $600, I would have breached my account.
Gee.
I had to stop. It was like bro, like I've already lost money, but don't lose the account now. Like
Yeah, and some people just get to a point, and especially if a lot of people with personal accounts as well, you know, when the margin call is hitting, it's like it just gets there, and you kind of just freeze because it's just like, oh, it's like it's over now,
Yeah.
and you're just like trying to throw one Hail Mary there and be like, hey, maybe this.
So the same thing. I had the problem when I actually started off as well. When I
Yeah.
started getting back into the personal game, because I'm used to these. If I want to say used to the bigger numbers now, it was almost weird trading the small numbers. So when I started, I was like, I'll put in 5K. And I'd be up, it come down, blow it. And then it's a case of, all right, let me put in another 3K. I'll blow it. Let me put another 3K. And then by the end of the day, you're sitting going, I'm at like 15K down now. Like, bro, stop. Put the phone down. Like, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because I feel once you like you're in that mindset, like you say, it's tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna change what you do the rest of that day.
Yeah, that's true. You just keep going and clapping those numbers.
Because you're not thinking. Your whole state of mind is different then.
Yeah. Gee, yeah, revenge trading, yeah. Trust me, I think everyone's just had like a bit of a tussle with that.
No, that revenge trading is something else. That is a whole different beast.
And I think I don't know, what are ways that you have set for yourself to kind of not be in a position of revenge trading?
So funny enough, if anyone's ever seen our live streams, I've got a rule. And this is for the whole day. So whether it's London, New York, I've got 2 bullets. 2 bullets, your mag's empty. So I've got 2 shots to take a trade. That means even if the first trade hit break even, that was a shot. I've got 1 more shot. So whether it's a loss and a loss, a win, 2 trades, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
Whether I even take 1 a day, that's fine, but I will not go more than 2 a day.
So what happens when you get 2 shots in the London session and then having to come back for New York session?
I'm not trading New York.
So you just chill there.
So it's kind of a case of, if I trade London, I always say to the guys, if I'm going to take a re-entry London, I've got to be very confident in that trade because I know I'm giving up any potentials that could happen in New York.
Oh,
So it's almost a case of, obviously, when it comes to New York session, I only trade gold. That's all I care about in New York session. So I'll dabble in USD and NAS every now and again still, but gold's my baby. So I'll look in the market. If gold's chalked, I'll leave it alone. But if I see there's either going to be that retracement I can catch or the extension I can catch, then obviously I keep that into mind before I take that second shot in London.
Yeah. Okay. And then on the flip side, on the most ridiculous trade that you've had.
But so funny enough, I've told this story to a few guys. It wouldn't necessarily be my biggest trade,
Okay.
but it was the biggest flip.
Okay.
So my mate and I are trading CPI, and I put 2K in. So I put 2K, he put 5K in, and we're sitting here trading CPI. So I'm getting ready to enter. It's like 7 minutes to, and I'm saying to him, we're literally sitting, we're on the phone, and I'm like, bro, I'm entered now. I'm entered. I'm going here. So he was already. So I said, bro, I'm entering now because I'm making sure I'm not getting like margin called or I can't have order fulfilled, like any of those excuses. Like I'm making sure I'm in this trade. So luckily this thing I enter and it's going into profits already. So I'm chilling. I'm like, yes, I'm already in profits. I'm already like 3K up. So I'm like, cool, we go in here and we waiting. It's like 30 seconds. News is about to come out. And my mate is like, bro, is your terminal frozen as well? And I'm like, what? Check in, terminal's frozen. Trading view's frozen. My phone's frozen. I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm like, sitting there, I'm refreshing my terminal, refreshing. And it was one of those, I'm on like the 15-minute time frame, nicely zoomed out. And next minute, this thing loads. The candles, yeah. And literally this thing shoots that it's off the screen. Off the screen. It's something stupid.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and show you, but it was like 1,800 pips in one move.
Yeah.
Like it was the biggest CPI event I've ever seen in my life. And I took 2K to 48K. 2K to 48K. And I just like closed it, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Still went up a little bit more.
Okay.
But yeah, that to me was still always one of the most ridiculous things. And I said, not the biggest number I've ever made, but a good amount of money from what I put in.
Yeah. So I think when instances like that happen, you know, how do you now protect yourself from wanting to replicate that particular?
So funny enough, at this point in time, I was like, this is when I was getting into fundamentals.
Okay.
So obviously I predicted this right. I'm cool with it. So for the next thing, we actually made it like a thing. We were always like getting together, me and my mates, and we'd get together every NFP, CPI, and trade it together. NFP, the next January, we get it right. CPI, we get it wrong. And I'm like, cool. But again, just because I made a big amount from it, I'm not like going bigger the next time. I was still just like, I'll put TK on it. If I make money, I make money. If I lost, it's 2K. I'm okay to lose that.
Yeah.
And we lose that and move on with it. And I think it was a case I lost like 3 in a row. So before you know it, you're down like 6K just trading news.
Yeah.
Which anyway is stupid. And I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. So for a long time, I always studied news, but I didn't trade it anymore. So I actually, after like having those back-to-back losses, I just walked away from it from a while. Until nowadays, I got a very good, if you want to say, understanding about it. We always joke about it every stream. I literally last week, the guys were like, Keegan, are we streaming NFP? And I'm like, bro. So when this whole thing started last year, when we started the streams, obviously there were these other guys in the industry that make a big fuss out of NFP and that, but then they can never get it right. So I wanted to show guys that when you actually do study it, again, there's an education behind it. You're never going to have 100%. You can't. Otherwise, I would be sitting there in the Fed's office with the guys. But you can have a very good understanding. And there's techniques you can use around it. So we started saying this thing of, okay, we'll trade NFP. We'll trade CPI. We still even the one time had the guys come into the office and traded NFP with them. And I think I went for 6-0. Yeah, for six NFPs and CPIs, got every single one right. And after that, I was like, okay, it's nice, but we stopped doing it because it's not something I want to promote to you guys. Because again, if we do it, it's for fun.
Yeah.
But there's a guy that will put his last bit of money every month on hoping he's going to flip that.
That's true.
And that's something I don't want to promote for guys to be losing.
Yeah.
Like that's not what trading is about. Trading is not about that 1 minute of glory.
That's so true. That's so true. And a lot of people have really made it about that. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we actually look at it, you see how big news events are right now because everyone's just kind of like looking at that 1 minute that's going to change your life.
Yeah. No one wants to do the guys again. It's that thing of hard work. People that are lazy. They don't want to sit in a chart for even an hour.
Yeah.
To catch a trade. And then the trade might take 2-3 hours to play out to a full TP.
Yeah.
They want to enter, like I say, 1 minute, get the glory, make a massive amount of money and cash out.
Yeah. No, that's true. No, Keegan, thank you so much.
No, pleasure, my brother. Thanks again for having me.
No, thank you very much. Any closing remarks from you?
As I say, guys, you know what? I don't want to say we trendsetters, but I hope at least what we're doing in the industry, some of the other guys, the other influencers will start following. Because this is an industry that can change lives.
Yeah.
It's not the end all be all, but it can make a difference. And I just don't want people in our country, in this industry, in the society, to get that bad taste in their mouth when you talk about Forex. There is good in it, and I just hope we can start spreading more of that goodness now to really show guys what it's truly about.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. And by the way, big ups on what you guys are doing.
I appreciate it, my man.
It's phenomenal. I love it. Like, I really do love it. Like, what you guys are doing, it's... Yeah,
right back at you guys, bro. Right back at you.
Appreciate. No, thank you so much. I'll definitely leave all of Keegan's details down below and also to the YouTube channel as well.
Awesome.
So you guys can go check them out and go trade live with them as well.
We're there every Monday to Friday, whether it's London, New York, we're there trading.
Yeah, only an act of God will stop you. Will stop you.
100%. And guys, maybe we'll bring NFP back. Maybe we will.
No, thank you so much, Keegan. I appreciate
it, my man.
Yeah, that was great. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was another installment of Market Masters with myself, Nqobile Tembane. I'll see you guys same time, same place next week.
Don't join the signals. Don't go there. It's bad. I don't pay you to stand on your car. Do I look like I'm scared of you or your people? Because the first person I reached out to was Nas 106. Look at Bamba FX. The only time he sends results through that bot of his is when there was money made on that day. You know, in order to judge whether someone can trade or not, you can just use their signals, because that is a direct reflection of who they are. That is why most of these guys, they sell a lifetime service. You know how much money DJ Coach made over a 3-month period? And don't talk about Jason Noah, who gave a car away to someone that's non-existent. They are handing out blue screen pamphlets on that free channels all day. We have this virus, and every day new signal providers gets born. Everybody wants to sell signals nowadays because it's an easy way to make money. It's either you're going to make a difference, or you do what Lesiba did and you close your signals group. What's that other guy's name who can't trade also? Maps to Sago. I sleep peacefully at night with a pew under my pillow.